Hey Boo, welcome to You Boo Podcast. I am lit up today because it is our 1 year anniversary of launching this podcast. I recorded and launched the first episode last year on 8/8/2024, 8/8/8. And it felt like a really significant day. And I chose that day with so much intention and care. And I'm thrilled to be bringing back the podcast after a bit of a hiatus on my 1 year anniversary of starting this show. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful. My name is Stephanie Sauvé-Bogue, and this is the show on what it means to know, love, and lead yourself. I believe that when each of us does the inner work of self, we evolve the collective by way of every one of us. And so when we can take that kind of self-responsibility and self-leadership to know, love, and lead ourselves in the world, it lends itself to family care, community care, collective care, and all of us evolving for the better. And it does start with what we do have the most control over, which is ourselves. And so when we can be in touch with all the layers of self, thinking about our mind, our body, our emotions, our intuition, our energy, our soul, our spirit, and the ways that we make choices in our life, the way we respond out in the world to external circumstances, other people, and situations that we create and co-create. When we become really self-aware in these areas, the opportunities for us become quite limitless. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work, because we can go from such a difficult situation in life to understanding how to make the most of it and how to keep moving forward and how to even understand what the heck are we even trying to do here? And are we even remotely in alignment with that, with the life choices that we're making? And so today I went back and I listened to the very first episode, and it reminded me of the passion I had on day one and why I'm creating this show. And so today on this episode, I'm coming home to that. And I'm recommitting myself to this project because it lights me up to do this. And today I have a really valuable conversation for us. I have some really valuable and hopefully supportive insights about what it means to not just to start something that you want to do, but to come back to something that you used to do when it's been a while. Can you guys already feel into something that might be like that for you? It could be a sport you used to play when you were a kid. It could be a creative endeavor like writing or art. It could be that you used to be in a band and now you don't have people to play music with. It could be that you started a degree and didn't finish it, but you would love to follow that all the way through. It could be anything in your life that you went all in on and you believed in yourself and you were so committed and you were so in love with that thing you were doing, or you were so invested in making it all the way through to the outcome, and then something happened and you didn't keep going. And so I want to dedicate today's episode to that topic. And on this 1 year anniversary, of having You Boo podcast. It is again August 8th, and it's a beautiful day for manifesting more of what we want. And so more of what I want in this moment is this energy of recommitting ourselves to the things we love, even when we've had to take a break for some reason or another. When I went back to listen to episode 1, I said something in that episode, and I want to talk about it. Because, first of all, I'm so inspired by a client who shared with me that she really wants to start a TikTok channel. But every time she goes to post something, this fear comes up that goes a little something like this. What if I start posting regularly and people are invested and they're following and they're paying attention, and then one day I just stop posting and I get stuck and everyone wonders where I went? Won't that be so embarrassing? And I was surprised that she was concerned about it being embarrassing. But I sat with that and I thought about it and I thought, isn't that one of the things that most holds us back? It is the fear of being judged by other people so much of the time, and being judged by ourselves and feeling not good enough. But this is a really specific version of that is really in this, what if we get witnessed in not being perfectly consistent? What if we get witnessed in failing? What if we start something with all of our heart and we go all in, and then all of a sudden we disappear from our project before it's finished, whatever that means? What will people think? Will they think we're flaky? Will they not take us seriously in our other work now? And so I sat with this idea of why that would be so embarrassing. And I realized that was a very valid concern that she had, that probably a lot of people have when it comes to not just doing the project, but the fear of stopping doing the project before it's finished. How many times have you done that? If you're anything like me, you've done it a lot. I know a lot of my neurodivergent friends and community and creatives and multi-passionate people, we really can experience that a lot. But what I'm curious about is, why does that have to be shameful? Why is it embarrassing to start something and go all in and then stop? Why is that embarrassing? Why is that considered a failure? Are we not allowed to just try? Are we not allowed to experiment? The last episode that I recorded in January was all about our work being an experiment. It was the episode where I was interviewing the artist Ellen Pickin in LA, and she really had this really refreshing approach of everything is an experiment. Even as a professional artist who executes at a very high level, she has that approach with her work. And that gives us so much freedom. Why are we not allowed to play? Why are we not allowed to experiment? So speaking to something that I said in episode 1 of You Boo podcast, exactly 1 year ago today, I said, I am so lit up about this show. I am so invested. I can feel that this is going to be a long-term project. I am going to be launching the You Boo venue online for us to gather, and you can expect 2 episodes a week from me. That's what I said. And when I said those things, you guys, I meant it. I was like, that's what I'm doing. That's my plan. And no matter what, I'm going to make it happen. So let's talk about it, because that's not what happened. And remember how I said in my first episode, if you happen to listen to it, that this show was going to be a living, breathing, evolving example of what it means to have the audacity to just dive into the thing you want to do without having to have it all figured out, without having to be perfect, but just with honesty, authenticity, and passion. And that's what I did. I took this podcast on the road with me. I recorded from a Las Vegas hotel room. I recorded from a garden at an art studio in LA. I recorded in Fiji outside of a beautiful villa. And I had so much fun taking this podcast everywhere with me. I had fun letting every episode be a different length and having a different intro song. And at some point, I let the podcast go from 2 episodes a week to 1. So let's talk about what happened when the episode stopped being posted. The last one I posted was in February. So, it's been 7 months, 6 months. So what happens if we take a 6-month hiatus from our project that we said to everybody in the public on YouTube, hey guys, this is a long-term project and I'm going to put out 2 episodes per week. And then I change my mind and go to 1, and then I completely stop. So I want to talk about what happened when I stopped, because it is so beautifully tied to all of the podcasting rules that I broke that I just mentioned. And there's more than just those. But when I set out to do this project, I really wanted this to be an opportunity to experience untethered creativity and be completely free. And I wanted to invite all of you to have that in your life as well. And so, as I'm talking about this as an example, I want to invite you to think about, what is your project? What is the project that you started and then you didn't finish, or you didn't keep it going, or you promised something and you didn't follow all the way through on it, or you said you were going to do something and then you didn't, or you started but you didn't finish? Don't we all have something like that, whether it's in our personal life or our business or our work life or with our friends or even with ourselves? Maybe it's, I said I was going to finish that yoga challenge and I quit after day 5. Okay. So I'm going to move through, how do we get out of our own way when it comes to beginning again? But first, I want to tell you a little bit about what are some of the things that made my podcast come to a screeching halt when I had said and believed, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this twice a week, long term, no matter what. So I got really inspired and joined a podcasting course. And the person who runs it is amazing. And I paid really good money to be a part of this course. And I had the thought of, okay, if I join a community and I join a course and I learn more about this, I'll become even more passionate about it. I'll become even more accountable. I will be able to spread it far and wide, and I'll be able to become really good at it. And I just mostly was intrigued and curious. I wanted community around this project because I'm doing it on my own. And I do have a lot of community in my work, but this was the one thing I wanted to have pure freedom with and just do it on my own so that I could do it at night after work, like right now, and I could just do it whenever I wanted to and talk about anything that feels alive for me or one of my clients or someone in this community. And so the course started with a really cool event in LA. I met great people. I was really inspired. And it was a catalyst for inspiration. And then when I started to embark on the course, something wild happened, you guys. Now, these kinds of things are so different for everyone. So I don't at all think that this experience is universal. I think this experience is relatable for some of us, especially if you know your human design. If you know you're a manifestor in human design like I am, you're going to relate to this, I'm sure. So for those of you who are familiar with human design, then you probably already are saying, oh yes, okay, I know where this is going. If you're not familiar, there are 5 human design types, and a manifestor is a type that is meant to innovate, meant to lead something new, a new way, meant to break the mold and do it in their own way. So manifestors are here for innovation. We're not here to repeat what's already been done. Now, I value education a lot. I've studied from so many different people. I have a bachelor's degree from a really good university, and I've studied from so many mentors in the personal development and spiritual expansion space. I've studied from so many people. It's so valuable to learn from others. But when it came to this project, which was very much this soul calling that I just felt I had to answer, and I don't even know why yet, not exactly. When I started to learn the specifics of podcasting and how we should be doing it, the rules of titles and episodes, and how you should use the same intro music every single time, and the episodes should be a similar length, and you should release them on the same time every week. And there's all of these recommendations that I know are there for a reason. And I don't discount how helpful that is for people. But something happened to me. I invested in this course, and I thought it was going to expand me when it came to this podcast. But something very mysterious happened. I lost my vision and my motivation for it completely. And I took a long break. Yeah, the last episode I recorded was in January, and it's now August. So, what the heck? And this is not an excuse. This is not me saying, oh, I couldn't do it, so I stopped trying, and that's fine. There is so much around why this happened. And I really want to just transparently share things that I moved through and how I'm back here again without shame or worry about what anyone thinks. So part of the manifestor energy, and this being my own soul project, my own soul-led project, from the beginning of this podcast, it's been done in the energy of rebellion. Not for the sake of rebellion, for the sake of freedom. The rebellion of authenticity, the rebellion of permission. One, to do it, even if no one knows who I am. And two, to do it how I want to do it, even if people will say that's not the best way, that's not the right way. But when someone that you really respect, who's really successful at this, begins to show you all the ways that you need to be doing it differently, something strange happened for me. Normally, it's so easy for me to do things in my own way and to not feel that it's bad to do it differently. And I didn't feel that, not exactly. I just lost the vision and the motivation. And I let myself completely invite new experiences into my life in this past, since I started this podcast and since I stopped recording it. So many changes have happened, and I'm excited to use what I've learned to share with you, because I feel like a lot of it will be so valuable to the things that you might be moving through in your life as well. So it's not that I didn't think my idea had value anymore, or that other people giving me advice made me feel like I was doing it wrong and that discouraged me. It was more just, when I started this, I felt like I was just channeling directly from something bigger than me. And I really just spoke from the heart in every episode. I never once had a script. And that connection got disrupted when I started to try too hard, when I started to take the advice of others, when I started to think about what's a better way. That clouded the clear connection that I had to my own vision. And I lost it. I lost the connection to my vision. I started to feel like I can't even set it up and go for it. It just became a non-issue. I just let it go. I just absolutely let it go. And I began to question other areas of my life as well. Is this still working for me? What do I want to add in? What do I want to take out? What do I want to do differently? I let myself change a lot of things in this past, 6 to 8 months. And it really was for the sake of continuing to live in that authenticity. And letting yourself change your mind publicly can be really scary and vulnerable. So I want to speak about that. Part of the rebellion of authenticity, which is a huge theme that I'm focused on right now, and even in the fact that I've been writing a book called that for a while now. But the rebellion of authenticity, the way that I see it, it gives us permission to do things differently and to not be ashamed. And so there's a lot of ways in my life that I choose, very intentionally choose, to allow people to misunderstand or disagree for the sake of honoring what's true to me and real to me. So an example, like all the labels people try to give us, I reject all of them. People ask a lot, are you vegan? The answer is no. But I don't eat meat and I don't eat dairy. But why am I not vegan? Because I still wear leather. I love to secondhand shop and buy homemade things from artists around the world. When I travel, I have this incredible leather bag that I got in Costa Rica that was handmade by a local there. It felt really good to give back to their local economy when I was there for a festival. I bought tons of secondhand leather things, like boots. I eat honey. And I eat locally produced, ethically produced eggs. So no, I'm not vegan. But isn't that kind of confusing to have to explain all that? Shouldn't I just decide the label I want to be and then stick to it perfectly, following all the rules? No. I do what makes sense to me. My body, my mind, my spirit, it's my choice. I don't have to follow the rules of veganism or being a vegetarian or any of it, or how I was raised to eat, or the things that I get to decide what feels right to me. And I respect others to do that too. I think it is great to be aware of our impact and to choose consciously as much as we can, but you don't have to fit into the label either. I get along well with vegans. I love to go to vegan restaurants. I just don't own the label because it's not exactly true. Even though I support the cause, I don't do it perfectly. And so I don't wear the label. So, what's another example of this? There's a lot of labels people want us to have. They want us to decide, who exactly are you? Make it easy for me. But we're layered and we're complex, and we don't have to. We don't have to fit perfectly into any of those labels. And so you guys are going to see, the more you get to know me, that I really do give myself permission to break all the rules when it comes to identity, when it comes to the work that I do that is meaningful to me in the world. And I don't feel ashamed. I don't feel the need to explain myself. And so sometimes I get on a real creative flow. I get in a real creative flow with my social media content. And then all of a sudden, I stop. And when I come back, I don't say, I'm sorry that I've been gone, and then explain myself. Because why do we owe that to each other? Why? Unless you promised it. And so let's talk about that. Because I actually did say, I'm going to post episodes twice a week. And then I let myself change my mind. And then I stopped doing it at all. So shouldn't I be horrified and ashamed and be apologizing right now? No. No, because I'm allowed to change my mind and no one got hurt in the process. This is a project that everyone gets to receive for free. And I never did say and how long exactly that would go on. And I did say it was going to be an ever-evolving experiment. Now, something that I've learned, though, is it is better to be true to our word. It is better to not unnecessarily make promises that we might not be able to keep. So that is a learning lesson here. If you don't have to commit to doing something so specific, you might want to consider to not do that then. And give yourself the option to shift and change without having to explain yourself, without having to apologize or feel bad. So often, if someone says, hey, would you be able to take a look at this script or this first draft of this book or this email that I'm going to send to someone? It's our instinct a lot of the time to say, oh yeah, I'll have that back to you by tomorrow morning. And then a bunch of things happen tonight. And now we realize to follow through on that promise, we've got to self-sacrifice in order for that, to follow through on our word. But that deadline we just gave ourselves was completely unnecessary. And so one thing that I have learned through making this mistake again and again, not because I don't care about people, I care so much about everybody in my life. But it doesn't mean I'm the queen of follow through all the time. And people can say all kinds of horrible things about that, like that I don't care maybe, but that's not actually why it happens. And so what I have learned is that if we don't need to set rigid parameters around what we're producing in the world, then don't. Give yourself freedom. If it's helpful to set them for yourself, go ahead and do that behind the scenes, but you don't have to tell everyone. That's an option, and that's something I'm going to do from here on out. I know that it is recommended to tell people what to expect and when we're going to show up, but you know what I think is really fun? Seeing what would happen. If I break all the podcasting rules based on what I want to do, what is possible? What would happen? Will it just be a flop forever? Maybe. Will it succeed against the odds? Maybe. It's an experiment, and I'm excited to find out, because what I have committed to even more now is to do it in my own way and to see what happens. Removing unnecessary pressures, removing unnecessary rules. I want to see what happens when I innovate, when I do it differently, when I let myself be free, when I offer value from my heart that I know helps people without the unnecessary rules around it. I want to see what happens. And I want to let it grow and evolve, and I want to let myself publish episodes when something is alive. And so let's see what happens from here. I can feel the spark all the way back about this project. And so let's talk about that. How do you possibly come back to a project that you've put down for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years? How do you do it? First of all, you have got to put down the weight of shame. You've got to forgive yourself. It doesn't have to be embarrassing. It doesn't have to be a point of shame. And so, write yourself a forgiveness letter. Burn it. Cry about it. Face it. Have someone hold space for you. Do what you need to do to forgive yourself for that and to not make yourself wrong. And if you do feel wrong, if you do have guilt, that's okay. I've had that feeling too. I've thought, why the heck? Why did you let how this course made you feel about your project stop you from doing your project? You know, I could really beat myself up about that. But if we imagine that 5 years from now, I'm sitting here celebrating 5 years of YuBoo podcast, will it matter that some point in year 1, I didn't do it for 6 months? No, it won't matter. The only thing that will matter is that I recommitted. And that is the exact same for whatever it is you're doing. You've got to recommit to what you're passionate about over and over and over again. This is true in our relationships too. It's true in our long-term relationships. When things break, when things fall apart, when things get hard, we've got to make a choice if we're going to recommit to each other again. A good marriage is choosing that person again and again and again and again. And when you do work that you care about in the world, it's the same. There are people who have done these things like this flawlessly and never missed a week. Usually they have a team and they have decided to make it a priority no matter what. And that's really impressive and really great. But it's not the only way to succeed. And so no matter how long it's been, think about what area of your life did something get left behind that you want to bring back. You want to face it again. You want to bring it back. You want to try it again. You want to finish it. You want to keep having forward momentum with it. First, look at why did you stop? And how does it make you feel? And you've got to forgive yourself. And then you've got to connect again to why it matters to you. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to try again, to keep trying? Why does it matter to recommit? Why does it matter to face that thing again, to do that thing again, to pick it back up? Connect to how it feels to imagine that you're in flow with that again, that that's a part of your life again, and that it's working better than ever. Connect again to the vision, the bigger vision. You don't have to know where it's going, and you don't have to make rigid commitments around it. What if you just approached it with curiosity and a willingness to try, a willingness to do it, a willingness to say, I want to do this one more time. I want to do this again and see where it goes. Knowing you're allowed to keep changing your mind. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to change with new information. You can change the name of the project. You can change the medium you're using for your art. You can change the yoga studio that you're going to for your practice. Implement the changes that you need to support yourself to keep going. And then you want to decide how you want to come out into the world with it. Do you want to let people know, hey, I'm doing this again. I'd love your support. You could think about, did you put it down last time because you didn't have accountability in your life? Did you not have enough support? Could you learn from last time and implement more support this time? When we're willing to face what went wrong, then our shame just becomes a lesson and it makes us better. If we can be brave enough and self-forgiving enough to say, whatever, I learned a lesson. I'm not perfect. It's cool. I get to do it differently now. You know, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that was too quick to make a commitment like that. So in the very first episode, I came out and said, I'm going to launch something called the Yubu Venue. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because I've learned a lot about what that's going to be now. And Yubu Room is what came through. And I like it so much more. Sometimes we don't do the thing, and instead of beating yourself up about it, recognize why maybe you just weren't ready and it wasn't the right timing. It's okay. You still get to do it now. Have faith in other people. Have faith in that other people will forgive you and that they'll still value your work. There's plenty of famous, successful people out there who've taken long hiatuses from their work. And as soon as they came back, they were still relevant. And people were so excited to start receiving their gifts again. So don't imagine that everyone's going to be judging you. What if they're just going to be genuinely excited that you're back, that you're doing your thing again, whatever it is? And also, don't even do it for them anyways. Do it for you. A lot of our projects, they do benefit other people. But don't do it only for other people. Do it because you want to, genuinely. Do it because it matters. So when we can put down the shame and we can not beat ourselves up about it and not make it mean that we even made a mistake, but maybe just that we overcommitted to something too soon. We spoke too soon. We thought we could predict the future. We overestimated what it would take. We underestimated the things out of our control. That's okay too. It's all a lesson to learn. But how can you take this as an inspiration to invite more freedom into your projects and removing unnecessary rules? Because what I have found is that when the rules become very rigid, the magic dissipates for me. Maybe not for everyone. Structure can be very supportive. Having very specific rules around things can be very supportive if you feel like you have too many options. It can be a great way to have guardrails around the limitlessness of creativity. Having design parameters around a project actually invites more creativity and problem solving. So it's not bad to set rules and goals and parameters and to say, actually, that structure is so important to me and that helps me succeed. But that is normally what we're taught, right? So what I'm really interested in talking about is the less likely thing that you're probably not taught and that you're probably not given permission for, which is, what if you do it how you want to? What if your structure is, I allow this project to be something that is so alive? Why does it have to follow certain rules? What if the energy behind it makes it a magnet for the right people? I'm curious to see. This doesn't mean we can't integrate learning strategies or receive support to get our work out there. It just means don't let that be a barrier to doing it if that feels overwhelming. So, how do I not feel ashamed about the ways that maybe I don't fit into the expectations of people? The way that maybe I let myself change my mind or be witness making a mistake. Is it because I just don't give it about people? Is it because I just don't care? No, I care a lot. It's because I feel very inspired to let my life be an example of what's possible when we liberate ourselves from the things that don't matter, from the things that hold us back from our potential, from the things that keep us separate from magic, from bliss, from abundance, from true happiness, from our authentic experience of life being honest to us. There's a lot of unnecessary rules we follow and we don't even realize it because so many people have told us our whole lives we're supposed to do it this way and that way, but who says they know better? Who says? I'm very, very, very inspired to find out why things can't be different and the ways in which they can. And so I let my life be that without making it wrong. I let myself do it differently without making it wrong because I don't think it's wrong. And I know my intent is good. I want this to benefit myself and others, to be able to live in this way while being so respectful of people around me and the social values that we're collectively wanting to uphold. This isn't about going against for the sake of going against. This is about liberation and freedom and evolution. Because when we can break the rules that other people set, that means sometimes we can break them in a way that helps us. move past blocks and barriers and things that keep us stuck and small and limited. So, in what area of your life can you give yourself permission for this? For coming back with lessons, with permission, with a fire in your belly, with inspiration in your heart, with love for the thing you want to do, without even feeling bad about it, more so feeling grateful and excited that you are still here, you're still alive, you get to try again, you get to keep going. You know what I've realized? The only thing that actually matters is that we keep going, that we never give up, that we keep orienting towards success, we keep orienting towards the vision, we keep letting the vision reshape itself as we know more, as we learn more. And so I invite you to practice that in your life. I invite you to notice, where could I pick something up again that meant something to me that I put down? And how do I feel about bringing that back into my life now? So reach out with questions. If you want support with something, please DM me. I'm moon.wild.studio on Instagram. You can email me at moonwildmuse@gmail.com. You can go to my website, moonwildstudio.com. You can message me here on my YouTube channel in the comments. Reach out. Ask a question. If I touched on something where you're like, I want coaching on this, reach out. I'll be happy to respond. So what else? What else do I want to mention about this? I think that's it. This is episode 14 of Yubu Podcast. I'm so grateful to be back. I'm so grateful I get to use this as a coaching moment for all of you. I'm so grateful to be in it again, to feel the connection to the project again. It's so fun. It's so fun. I'm so glad to be back. And I'm so grateful to all the people that have been sharing with me, that they've been listening and that they've loved it, and that they've been binging the episodes, and that it's helped them and supported them and inspired them. And so if you have been one of those people, thank you. It really means a lot to me. And I hope that this supports you in being free to be who you are and to do what you want in your life. I have so much more to share about the things I've learned and moved through since I've been gone. I haven't really been gone. I've been doing my other work, but I'm happy to be back here in the podcast studio. So much more on the lessons and the things I want to bring forth to you that I've witnessed people heal through, tools I want to share with you that have helped myself and others, some updates about life that are different than what I talked about in the fall in the podcast. So stay tuned. Let me know how you feel about what I shared. I know it's controversial. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it, and that's good. Let's have a meaningful discussion about it. And this is what the Yubu Room is going to offer. I'm going to invite you guys to come and do Q&A with me and receive some coaching. So really excited for that. And if this was valuable to you, please leave a review, like, subscribe, send to a friend, pay it forward. I really believe in the abundance we cultivate when we lead with generosity, when we respond in generosity to the gifts that life gives us. And I know that I love listening to podcasts and I get so much from them. I really do. It's incredible that we have this medium available to us that is free. And so one thing I've really expanded on in my life is just generosity, giving and giving, knowing that there is a reciprocity that exists in the universe, and it's not about giving in order to receive, but it's more we don't have to be afraid of giving, because you will receive when you give freely and with a true spirit of generosity, not resentment, not energy of have to, just the energy of I want to, I'm willing, I can, why not? I'm alive, I have something to give. So podcasting is a beautiful way that people can receive, that you guys can all receive some really high level support and inspiration and knowledge and ideas while just going about your daily life. And so I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for receiving. And I will talk to you soon. It's been Stephanie Sauvé-Bogue of Moonwild Studio for You Boo Podcast, what it means to know, love, and lead yourself. Good night.